So today I want to demonstrate some light modifiers on a white background. I'm going to shoot a bunch of different ones just of myself because I don't really have a beautiful model at the moment. And you should be able to see the shadow on the background and the light on my face. And hopefully it'll give you a pretty good demonstration or illustration of how light modifiers, how different light modifiers will affect what you're seeing. So first I want to start off with a naked flash. This is an Alien B B800 with its just default reflector. So we'll do a quick shot with a naked flash and you'll be able to see what that produces. Okay, so here we have a naked flash, no flash modifier. You can see how sharp and defined shadow is. See harsh light on my face. Really strong shadows. And a really small specular highlight. But not horrible. Okay, so now let's try a beauty dish. So now we're going to use a beauty dish with no diffusion panel and no internal reflector bit. So let's see what this looks like. Now we have a beauty dish with no reflector in it and no diffusion panel. The shadow is quite a bit softer here. The shadow on my face is quite a bit softer. Specular highlight is bigger. So it's better. It's still somewhat harsh shadow. So I'm going to try and place the light source in the same spot for each one of these demonstration shots. Okay, so now we have a beauty dish with the internal reflector, but still no diffusion panel. Let's see what this one looks like. So this shot with the beauty dish was a little bit darker, so the next one we're going to increase the power. As you can see, we're starting to lose some light with this lighting modifier, so I'm going to have to increase the power from 1/4 of a power, a little bit higher, closer to half. And now we'll try that shot again. So now we've increased the power slightly, and I'm brighter, much softer light. Shadow is very soft also. So next we'll add the diffusion panel. Okay, so now we have the diffusion panel on the 22-inch beauty dish. So now we're looking at a beauty dish with the internal reflector and the diffusion panel. Quite soft light. Good specular highlight. The intended use for a beauty dish, I believe it's supposed to be quite a bit closer to the subject's face so the light can wrap around it better. I'll do a specific video on the beauty dish itself at some point. But this is just to compare a bunch of different light modifiers from the same position. Okay, next we're going to try a softbox. Vertically mounted on the same flash in the same spot as the beauty dish. Okay, now let's try the softbox. Here's our underexposed image shot with a softbox. See, the shadow is really soft, but we're definitely underexposed. So let's shoot it again. As you can see, the image with the softbox is quite a bit darker. It seems to be diffusing the light, spreading it out more. So we're going to have to increase the flash power again. This time we'll go all the way to half. Now this exposure with the softbox is better. You can see really soft shadow, nice soft shadows on the face, a rectangular specular highlight. So now we're going to start taking a look at some umbrellas. First, I have a shoot-through white umbrella, about 40 inches in diameter. And here we are with the shoot-through umbrella. Shadow is super soft. This is one of my favorite light modifiers just because it's really soft. See, there's almost no shadow on my face, and a round specular highlight, which is really nice. Now I'll use a small reflective umbrella, and we'll see what that looks like. With the reflective umbrella, I had to spin the flash around the other direction so it can actually bounce it back at me. This is the first time that the flash has actually had to move orientation. Let's try the small reflective umbrella. You can see with the reflective umbrella that the shadow is much sharper again. Again, you can see the shadows on my face are harsher, round specular highlight. All in all, pretty good and really cheap. Okay, now we'll go with the big reflective umbrella, 57-inch, gigantic. Let's see what this one looks like. 57-inch umbrella. It's so big I can't raise it as high as the other ones were just because my roof is not that high. So it's quite a bit lower. The flash is almost at eye level, but the umbrella is touching the ceiling. So here's with the giant umbrella. We're a little bit hot on this side of my face, so we're going to reduce the flash power. You can see the specular highlights, gigantic umbrella. Shadows, pretty nice. So it looks like because the flash is not as high, inverse square law says it's closer to me, so not as much light is dissipating, so I have to reduce the flash power slightly. And we'll see what this looks like with a reduced flash power. Alright, big umbrella. Power reduced slightly, so it's not overexposing the side of my face. None of these images have been corrected in any way, shape, or form in Lightroom. They can easily be recovered, but I haven't touched them at all, so this is straight from the camera. See the shadow, it's nice, really soft shadow over my face. So, all in all, good light modifier. And lastly, I want to try an Optica Softbox, little tiny one on a speedlight in the same spot as our bigger speedlights were, just to see what this does compared to a naked flash compared to a bigger softbox. So now let's test the speedlight. Here you can see how dark this image is. That was at half power and turned out really dark, and you can see the spread of light is pretty different. So I'm going to increase this speedlight to full power and see what that gets us. Alright, speedlight full power. Let's try that. So now we've increased the power to full power, but it's still way underexposed. So that's still pretty dark. So now, because the inverse square law, our only option is to bring the light closer because we're at full power. So let's try that. Okay, now the light is a little past arm's reach away. This should light me up. And here's a small softbox on the speedlight, much closer, but because of that, you can see the shadows are really harsh. Specular highlight. So there you have it, a demonstration of a bunch of different light modifiers. We looked at a naked flash, we looked at a bunch of variations of a beauty dish, we looked at a couple softboxes, and a couple umbrellas. So if we come to any conclusions, well, it turns out that what you may have been told in the past is slightly incorrect. Apparently size does matter. So I hope this helps. Bye.